I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that.
The United States, meantime, is escalating its war of words over Greenland. The White House says President Trump is discussing a range of options for acquiring it, including purchasing it from Denmark or forming a compact of free association. But European leaders are defending the Arctic island as a senior US policy advisor says America will eventually take over the territory.
We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security.
President Trump is intensifying his push for the U.S. to acquire Greenland one way or another. After the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Trump once again floated the idea of taking over the Danish territory. And after he refused to rule out military force, Denmark's prime minister claimed any strike on Greenland would mean the end of the NATO alliance.
If the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO.
But the tough talk continued. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller hinted the U.S. will move to take over the territory sooner rather than later, claiming it's part of a long-term strategy to help NATO allies.
To protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States.
Democrats on Capitol Hill pushed back on those comments and vowed to stop funding any military operation aimed at acquiring Greenland.
What kind of adventurism is this? The language Miller used comes right out of the 1930s.
I think that would contribute to regional instability.
And America's NATO allies are standing behind Denmark, saying the U.S. has no right to invade Danish territory, while also acknowledging America's role in European security.
We must do everything we can to maintain European-American ties. This difficult task will require goodwill on all sides.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune told Fox News today he doesn't think U.S. military action is an option in Greenland.
The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United
right,
States,
but your wife posted that like hours after the Venezuela operation. That's why it's newly relevant.
I'll talk with you about it for an hour. I think it's a really important conversation. I just wanted to reset, Jake, by making clear that it has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States.
Denmark and Greenland's governments have requested a meeting with the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Greenland's leadership is tense following the attack on Venezuela and comments by President Trump that they need Greenland for national security. Today, the White House releasing a statement saying that the US president was considering the use of his military alongside a range of options, including acquiring the territory through a purchase arrangement. They reiterated that the president claims he needs to have it. European leaders have penned a letter condemning the president's stance, insisting geopolitical rules must be followed. Dominic Waghorn is on the ground in Greenland and has more on how global leaders are reacting.
They think they've seen this before, but I think there is a greater sense of unease and fear. Their politicians, both here but also in Copenhagen, are openly really worried about this and condemning Donald Trump. The Prime Minister here said enough is enough, stop your fantasies of annexation. And Mette Frederiksen, the Danish Prime Minister, said that she is taking Donald Trump seriously, taking him at his word, and warning that if he does try and take Greenland, it will be the end of the NATO alliance. And she was backed up today by any number of European leaders signing up to this joint statement. They have bent over backwards not to offend Donald Trump as much as they have tried for the last year or so, because they don't want to offend him over Ukraine, but they felt they had to draw a line today, producing this joint statement, which is effectively warning an ally not to attack another ally. A completely extraordinary state of affairs and a new low in transatlantic relations. None of that has deterred Donald Trump, who has carried on regardless. He's met with officials today and is pressing on with plans to try and take over Greenland and not ruling out military action. So we're in uncharted territory. And I think the big fear for Greenlanders is that they know that he knows he doesn't need to take Greenland for national security reasons. He's got a base here, and under a treaty in the 50s, he can build as many bases as he wants. He doesn't need to take it over to take minerals from here. He can send in companies to extract minerals as much as he wants as well. Their fear is that he's doing this purely for sort of imperialist reasons. He wants to be the first president for decades to expand the borders of America, and I think they fear that he feels emboldened. He's got his pecker up after what he's done in Venezuela, and he wants to take the next move, and they fear that they will be next.